It's been a long wait, but Guild Wars 2's newest expansion, End of Dragons, is finally here. In this video, I'm going to give you a general overview of all the new stuff coming with this expansion, explain what makes Guild Wars 2 different from other MMOs, and talk about the things that I'm personally most excited about with this new expansion. Before we go any further, this video is sponsored by Guild Wars 2, but I've covered this game on numerous occasions in the past, put thousands of hours into playing it over the years, and it's genuinely one of my favourite MMOs and has always been an easy one to recommend. With all that said, let's go through the biggest features and content coming to the game with End of Dragons. First up, it wouldn't be a new expansion without a massive new region to explore. End of Dragons introduces the region of Cantha, a place that hasn't been seen since Guild Wars 1, and upon launch there'll be 4 main areas to explore: the Jade Sea, Xingji Island, New Caning City, and the Echo Vold Wilds. As you can probably tell, the general aesthetic of the new zones in End of Dragons is ancient Asian fantasy, spliced with Jade technology and mechs, which is quite the contrast to any of the other zones present in the game previously. Personally, the zone I'm most excited for is Xingji Island, as this is a harbour area in which players will get their own boats to sail around on and partake in fishing. Yes, that's right, after all these years they've finally added fishing to Guild Wars 2. The game had mining, gathering and logging, but until now it never had fishing. The fishing skill comes with 3 new gathering tools: rods, lures and baits, with fishing having its own mastery line that improves your fishing skills. We'll be able to sail the Great Lakes on our skiffs, catch rare fish and take them to chefs who will be able to prepare new seafood dishes that grant player buffs. I expect fishing will be quite a popular chill social activity for people to do, whilst also subtly flexing their Fashion Wars game. Over the past few years, Guild Wars 2 has been known as the MMORPG that has the best mount system in the genre. Every mount in this game has its own abilities, animations and unique feel, whilst also being core to exploration within certain maps. End of Dragons brings a brand new mount to the game known as the Siege Turtle, which is a 2-player mount that excels in combat rather than movement. I mean, it's a turtle, what do you expect? The Siege Turtle uses Jade tech for its main turret and powerful jets of energy that can lift the turtle into the air. He may not be fast, but he's a big damage boy. Another useful feature introduced with End of Dragons is a new adventuring companion known as your Jade Bots, which also comes with its own mastery track. Jade Bots can be customized with numerous non-combat modules that provide helpful utilities such as ziplines, glider boosts, a rescue protocol, personal waypoints, skiff boosts, scavenger protocol, junk conversion and treasure hunting. They can even be equipped with a robust power core to boost your health, so this is one new feature that you definitely don't want to neglect. For me, someone that's an existing Guild Wars 2 player, the biggest thing that I'm looking forward to with End of Dragons are the new Elite Specializations coming to the game. Elite Specializations basically transform the game's base classes into something with a completely new flavour, new abilities and unique playstyle. As a Necromancer main, the new Elite Specialization I'm looking forward to the most is the Harbinger. Basically a combination of what you'd get if you combined a Necrotic Alchemist with a Gunslinger. I'm expecting this class to be pretty annoying in PvP as it has a blight mechanic that converts pain to big damage. Other new Elite Specializations introduced with End of Dragons consist of the Untamed for the Ranger, Willbender for the Guardian, Vindicator for the Revenant, Bladesworn for the Warrior, Mechanist for the Engineer, Spectre for the Thief, Catalyst for the Elementalist, and Virtuoso for the Mesmer. The reason I'm so excited for these new Elite Specializations is it's going to completely shake up the entire endgame meta for both PvP and PvE. No one's going to know what build or spec is best, so during launch I expect people to be having a ton of fun experimenting and creating their own builds. For PvP especially, it's going to make the game feel completely different. Another thing Guild Wars 2 is known for is having a fantastic, fully voice-acted, ongoing main storyline, and this obviously continues going into End of Dragons. As you explore the new region, you'll be trying to gain the trust of Tyria's most powerful nation, the Empire of Cantha, to stop the Aether Blades plunging Tyria into war. Along the way, you'll participate in epic boss battles, jumping puzzles, new strike missions, new collectibles, and large-scale map-wide events culminating in gigantic boss fights. Now, I'm sure all of this sounds super exciting for those of you who are already familiar with Guild Wars 2, but I know there's a lot of you that haven't ever played the game before, or maybe feel like the game's been around for so long that it'd be hard to get into. I'm here to tell you that now is actually the best time to jump into Guild Wars 2 and give it a good solid try. For me personally, in the past, I struggled to get into Guild Wars 2's level 1 to 80 vanilla content. I didn't like running around the old maps on foot, but when they introduced mounts with the Path of Fire expansion, I used the free level 80 boost you get upon buying the game to boost a warrior to max level. Jumping straight to the newer stuff with zones packed full of other players during the hype of a new expansion launch got me hooked. And the story always does a surprisingly good job of making you care about it very quickly, even if you don't have a clue what's happened in the previous expansion's story. Story-wise, new expansions are always designed to be easy to get into for new players, and you always have the ability to go back and revisit the old stuff once you're invested into the game. The reason now is the best time to get into Guild Wars 2 is that you'll be able to experience that new expansion excitement again with End of Dragons. Tons of players showing up at every dynamic map event, players forming event trains to spawn the super epic zone gigabosses, and the community as a whole will be very welcoming as usual with the expectation of new players checking out the game. I've said it before many times in the past, but Guild Wars 2 respects your time more than any other MMORPG I can think of. There's no endless gear grind at endgame, players are rewarded for working together and don't have to fight over monster kills, there's more horizontal progression than any other MMO in the form of map completion, masteries, fashion wars and achievements. The game has the best hybrid combat system in the MMO genre, and there's no open world PvP griefing in this game. Instead, for PvPers you can jump into equalised small scale PvP from as soon as level 1, or you can create a basic world vs world build within an hour or so and jump into some large scale. Guild Wars 2 is one of the few MMOs where you could play the game, make a ton of progress, log out for 6 months, then come back to it and feel like all your past accomplishments and gear are still relevant. For that reason, it's an MMO that I recommend to pretty much anyone, whether they want a game for 40 hours per week or as little as 2 or 3 hours. As Guild Wars 2 is quite different to other MMOs though, there might be one or two things that you'll find confusing, especially doing what I recommended and just boosting a character to max level to jump right into the new content. If you find yourself confused, be sure to go on YouTube and type in Guild Wars 2 New Player Guide. There's tons of great videos that will explain everything. But just to give you a quick TLDR of all the types of content you can expect in Guild Wars 2 as a brand new player, PvE content in Guild Wars 2 consists of 10-player raids, 5-player endgame dungeons with increasing difficulty and affixes known as fractals, massive large-scale world bosses that require multiple raid groups to take down. These are typically spawned through open-world dynamic event chains, 10-player strike missions. These are instanced PvE boss battles that act as a bridge between open world and raid difficulty PvE, and solo bosses that you'll encounter whilst playing through the main story. PvP content in Guild Wars 2 consists of 5v5 arena PvP that has both ranked and unranked modes, as well as automated tournaments, large-scale world vs world battles where you get to fight for your server in an eternal battlefield, and guild vs guild, which is organised by the community. Casual/horizontal progression in Guild Wars 2 consists of map completion, legendary weapon collection, jumping puzzles, guild halls, the wardrobe system in which you collect and dye armor to show off your fashion skills, mastery point completionism, and playing through all of the game's past living story episodes. The game basically has something for everyone, and is also known for having one of the most friendly and welcoming communities in the MMO genre. It's also got dragons. People like the dragons. With all that said, my next video will be a Guild Wars 2 End of Dragons First Impressions, where you'll be able to see my reaction checking out all of the new content, features and story of the new expansion. It's been a long 4 years waiting, but the wait is finally over. A big thanks to Guild Wars 2 for sponsoring me to cover one of my favourite MMOs. If you want to support the channel and play End of Dragons, click my link in the description below to buy the expansion. A max level boost is included so you can jump right into the new stuff with me. Thanks for watching, social media links on screen, and I'll see you in the next one.